As the human population increases, kelp population decreases, and water pollution becomes a bigger threat. Each year, 1.2 trillion gallons of untreated sewage, stormwater, and industrial wastewater are dumped into U.S. ocean waters. With a rapid rate of 2% decrease per year in giant kelp in California, people lack the knowledge to know what importance these coastal communities have. I researched and conducted my own experiment to see what effect kelp has on different pollutants in the water. In my experiment, I tested 5 different chemicals: green dye, red dye, copper sulfate, titanium dioxide, and sulfuric acid. I used a specific type of California native kelp called featherboa kelp, which I used in my experiment to absorb the chemicals. After a week with the kelp, the copper was absorbed with a 98.2% reduction rate compared to the control. And I actually had to add more copper sulfate in the tank after 3 days because all of it was absorbed by the kelp. Sulfuric acid was decreased by 89.2% reduction rate compared to the control. Kelp has a defense mechanism where it uses sulfuric or lime acid to deter herbivores and keep itself safe from herbivores. In my experiment, it probably absorbed the sulfuric acid but never released it since there were no herbivores nearby. The red dye reduced by 88.6% when compared with the control, and the green dye reduced by 56.4%. The reason the red dye worked better than the green dye is because the kelp I used reflects green wavelengths of light, and therefore it absorbed the red dye better. In the dye, it has carbonic acid, which the kelp can use like CO2, and that's why it absorbed it. The titanium dioxide was reduced by 29.2% when compared with the control because the kelp took the titanium dioxide and it stuck to the leaf. Kelp can have a very important role in cleaning up our oceans, but we need to protect it so that it can do its job.